أكبر الله أكبر.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. As we continue our discussion of Ramadan reflections, we wish to reflect upon a hadith of the Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam recorded by Imam Muslim. The Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "As-sawmu junnah," fasting is a shield. What does it mean that fasting is a shield? What is the function of a shield? In a typical battle, the person, the combatant, has a sword in his right hand and a shield in his left hand. And the purpose of the shield is to protect the person from a blow or an attack by the enemy. So how does fasting serve as a shield for the Muslim? My brothers and sisters in Islam, a person enters a vigilant state of being during fasting. I'll give a small example to highlight this point. When young people first start fasting, they frequently experience one or two mishaps during their first few days of fasting. While they are walking around, they pick up something and put it in their mouth to eat. And then they remember that they are fasting, and then they spit it out. And this occurs for younger people for the first 2 or 3 days of Ramadan, until the concept of being vigilant about food during the day becomes ingrained and normalized for this young person. So this is how Ramadan and fasting pushes a person into a vigilant state of being. So how does that affect or work for the rest of us? We know, for example, the Rasulullah ﷺ commanded us while we are fasting to also abstain from lying and bad behavior and cheating and things like that. And this also requires vigilance on our part. So for example, if somebody were driving while they are fasting, and as we are driving somebody cuts us off, and if this person had a standard reaction of using a certain word or of honking even the horn, then this person in the month of Ramadan would try to abstain from it. So literally a person would be driving, a Muslim would be driving in Ramadan, and somebody cuts him off, and then he would go to honk the horn, and then he would remember, I am fasting, let me not pick a fight. And so this form of vigilance is behavior altering. This form of vigilance forms a shield, because literally we are in a fight with shaitan, and shaitan wants to trap us by doing bad deeds. But when we are fasting, we remember for every single action that we are about to take as to whether or not this action pleases Allah. There is a very interesting statement or story we find from Hasan Basri rahimahullah, and he says that for the last 18 or 20 years I have not done a single action, I have not uttered a single word without thinking, does this please my Lord or does this anger my Lord? If a person were able to place himself or herself in this concept of hypervigilance, then fasting would form a shield that would protect this person from sins. So I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to cause our fasting to form a shield for us from bad deeds and deeds that displease Him, and from deeds that take us to Jahannam. And I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to accept our fasting and to grant us Jannah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.